I mean, we do it.
You do
He
it
bought the old ecology and
Yeah,
environment.
we
Oh,
do
all right.
enrollment, so it's whenever you can go, we go. Okay. So it's not like 40 weeks for 4 weeks. It's not.
It's like, you can do it, like, you pay up front.
Yeah, yeah, or we have payment plans.
So basically.
Do they own far enough back to go back through Genesee Street too, or no?
Must go back that far. I'd have to look at it back. We just asked
You
them
gotta
how
be,
much they
yeah,
had.
you gotta be.
You
Yeah.
get,
I mean, that'd be great.
How you been, Kevin?
Multiple accesses.
Once in a while.
What do you
we
do
do-
with a prisoner when you can't, there's no justification for driving, it's just can't drive?
Well, they get them.
One day at a time, buddy.
They give up themselves.
Yeah, they
before
do.
Yeah, they weed themselves. But no, it's
I
busy season.
have a,
Since we are live streaming, might just want to mention that there is the Rotary Club Car Show coming up
yeah,
tomorrow from 4 to 8 at Russell's Steakhouse. We will have country line dancing at 5:30, and lots of cars, lots of good food and games.
I'll be there. Yeah, that's interesting.
I did say Rotary Club of Lancaster Depew, right?
Do we ask Grant?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Your date of pregnancy.
That's right. I know. I hope she doesn't catch me.
Guess that means
Just in time.
Andrea.
He's trying to look
That's fixed.
and a new email. My calendar doesn't.
Yeah.
Pretty good return. It should have been done, I believe, last year. I'm gonna have to pull the book. I think that was last year.
What David's been working on that Boulevard Mall thing. He's been to New York City a couple of times and stuff like that. Looks like he's gonna do it, so. It's up to Carl Pellegrino, Jr., second, on the Eastern Hills Mall. And they're thinking that maybe we could call that adaptive reuse. I only knows on that one.
Can't I'm going to call the meeting to order. Going to ask that we postpone the meeting for a few minutes until our clerk comes back. Everybody's agreeable? Yes.
Is that, oh, this guy's even better all the time. Is that, see, I didn't know.
It's getting there.
Somebody entertaining us with music today?
You press the wrong button, you never know what's going to happen.
See what's keeping us.
Oh, did you?
In the office.
It's not finding. Is that what your issue is? Is this what you got? Or no? I'm trying to add this to.
Just need him to do it. It's like, here. Just do
It's saying you can't even find it. No, in the app it works. It opens.
Busy, huh? You busy?
It opens.
Good. Keeps you out of trouble.
Where to go to sometimes.
Oh, I am. Sometimes it's right. I think David's in Thousand Islands, right? Did he come back?
Not before this one.
Is he back?
that was an issue. Final
Right. Let's just push it off the can. See the same on the internet. This was not necessary.
Please rise for the pledge. Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Here.
Tony, Member Weir,
Here.
Member Peterson,
Here.
Reno,
Here.
Here. Member Strait,
Here.
Chair Pastor.
Here. Okay, I'd like to turn around, move the presentation and approve the minutes from our July meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Member Tony,
Yes.
Member Weir,
Yes.
Member Peterson,
Yes.
Member Reno,
Yes.
yes. Member Strait,
Yes.
Chair Pastor.
Yes. Okay, Mike, your CFO report?
Thank you. Good afternoon. My report was provided with the agenda, which showing cash balances as of August 1st of $1,613,343.12. That's broken out between the checking account and the New York Class account. And you'll notice the initial deposit on the New York Class account a couple months ago was $1 million. That's currently earned interest up to this point of $7,745.17, which is a good return in just 2 months for you. Also, since the last meeting, we had one deposit for the initial administrative fee from Glasgow Management for $13,000, so that was deposited. That is included in the balance, as I mentioned. And then new invoices and vouchers that have been reviewed for payment this month for attorney services, consulting fees, and CFO services. Those 3 vouchers total $3,955, and then I also will mention one additional invoice and voucher that was reviewed, that was received after the report was provided for the agenda, was the monthly computer network managed services from TechNet, which would be for the upcoming month of September for $280, so that's also been reviewed and approved by the treasurer for payment this month. Also, a couple notes, pilot bills. We've now reached the new tax cycle, 2023-24, so I'll be calculating, reviewing the list, the updated list of pilot properties for this coming year and calculating the school pilot bills later this month to be provided to the school districts so that they can bill in September. So that will be done, and I've also provided you with a draft budget for 2024. I was able to present a budget showing a 0 net, which is better in past years, as you've seen, is typically a negative budget, and a big part of that is the new investment in the New York Class account. You're able to get a better interest rate, and then trending over the 3 years, that'll probably go down a little bit. We don't expect interest rates to stay at this level for over the next few years, but it's a good budget, I think, for next year. So this is being presented to you to accept along with my report, and then I'll be providing a copy to the town. It has to go before the town board for their review, and then if you have any comments or feedback, please let me know. I'm happy to make any adjustments you'd like to request, and it just needs to be approved either next month or the month thereafter. Any questions?
Make the motion to accept the CFO report.
Second motion.
Yes.
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 Yes. Before we go to the resolution for the public comment, I think the only one we had, okay, we'll bring that up after. All right, basically, we got a resolution for, at the public comment, we were discussing to turn around and put a 5-minute rule in. Kind of read it here. Whereas the Town of Lancaster Industrial Development Agency recognizes the importance of public comment, maintain a public comment period as a standing item in its board meeting agendas, and whereas the LIDA board desires to establish protocols for public comment to encourage and maintain a positive and productive environment for citizens' input, which is helpful to the board's decision-making process. Now, therefore, the Town of Lancaster Industrial Development Agency hereby adopts the following as its protocols for public comment during its board meetings. Public comments is encouraged and will be continued to be listed as an agenda item at every regular IDA board meeting. The public comment period will be held near or at the end of the meeting. The LIDA chair will open the public comment period by announcing the allotted time provided for the public comment period. Each individual wishing to be heard during the public comment period will have up to 5 minutes to make comments. Additional time to extend the public comment period or the time for an individual speaker to make comments may be granted on the motion of a board member that is seconded and approved by an affirmative vote for the entire board. The chairman will recognize speakers by the raise of their hands. Speakers will be asked to provide their names and identify the matter they will be discussing or addressing. We'd like to add in, Kevin, if we can, right there too, their address, if we could. I didn't catch that before. Number 4, speakers will discuss, will address all comments to the board as a whole and not an individual board member. Discussion between speakers and members of the audience is not permitted. The public comment period is for receipt of public comment, not for debate. The chairman and other board members will refrain from participating in a back and forth dialogue with speakers. Questions from the board will be for information and clarification purposes only. Speakers are expected to conduct themselves with appropriate decorum. Anger, rudeness, ridicule, obscenity, or profane language, personal attacks, or other conduct demonstrating the lack of respect for others are not acceptable behavior. The chairman is responsible for maintaining order. Failure to abide by the decorum requirements will result in a forfeiture of the speaker's right to speak. 7, the protocol for public comment at the board meeting will be posted and maintained on the LIDA website. The question for the adoption of this foregoing resolution is duly put to a vote on a roll call, which results as the follow. I'd also like to, just before we actually vote on this, just make the comment too, this is not going to impinge on anybody's First Amendment rights. The whole idea is to let them speak their mind. If they're speaking fact, I'm not going to have problems, but if they get belligerent and attacking somebody, we're going to stop it. But First Amendment comes first. People have a right to voice their opinion. With that, I'd like to make a motion to accept this.
Just on the question, are you going to be keeping the time?
We can, you want to turn around and assign somebody to do it?
No,
I was going to do it, yeah, I
I
can do
just
it.
hope somebody will.
Yeah, I did it last time.
Yep.
I can take care of the time
That's
if
fine.
that's
No problem.
in there. So with that, do I get a second?
Second?
Member Gazzomi?
Yes.
Member Leary?
Yes.
Member Peterson?
Yes.
Member Torino?
Yes.
Member Rita?
Yes.
Member Straight?
Yes.
Chair Baxter?
Yes. Okay. With that, then we have resolution done. There's no old business and new business. We'll start with the upstate rebar, Kevin.
Sure, let me get to the resolution. This is a project that I think has a couple more years left on the pilot. And the company back in, I think it was in 2010, financed through Evans Bank and through the SBA. They've gone back to Evans Bank to refinance their mortgage and to take out the SBA. Under the terms of our lease-back agreements, they need the consent of the Lancaster IDA in order to enter into that mortgage. So that you're not being asked to provide any benefits here. It is essentially a consent so that they can go forward with their transaction.
Super. With that, do I have a second?
Second?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, on the new business, I just want to go, Paul, about those survey sheets we were talking about a little bit before, so everybody knows where we're standing on that. You're having problems with that still?
Michael, you want to speak to that, because I told you what I've been doing on several calls with them? I'll refer to Michael, because I've been
Yeah.
working with Michael regarding
Yeah,
them.
no problem.
And I showed him the different calls that I've made and so on and so forth, and asking that these people respond to the Dresser and Maleki's letter, which is Mr. Michael Kraus, and I've talked to 5 of the companies that we've done, and we're just waiting to see whether or not those are going to follow through.
Yeah, but speaking with Paul, he mentioned that he's reaching out to his contacts, and then a lot of those contacts are providing information for other contacts, and he's just having some difficulty in some cases finding the right person to address the survey. I mentioned that in those conversations, we should make sure they're aware that we, going forward, which we did this year, we have a good process in place now that we're going to have the surveys ready to mail out with their town and county pilot bills, so that they know they're coming. So when they get the town and county pilot bill, they don't take the bill out, pay the bill, and throw the survey away, not realizing it's in there. Another issue that came up was the fact that if the auditors do take care of coordinating the surveys each year and getting them ready and prepared to be signed by the chair and then mailed out, but it seems like the follow-up piece is what's missing, because they aren't engaged to do that follow-up. So we need a process probably internally who's going to make those calls when we get those information, rather than 5 months later we're finding out that they weren't provided. So that's something I think potentially internally in the IDA we need to look at and figure out like a follow-up process for those, like we've been doing this year.
Right.
And technically, Mr. Chairman, technically, the accounting firm should be following up with these phone calls. It's not my job. I volunteered to do it and to help Michael. And these are what I've been calling all these different companies, and I've talked to some of the principals. For instance, but they keep putting me off to other people and so on and so forth. So we, like, for instance, I talked to Elise Hake from the project on, I don't know whatever the name of the project is, but she was unaware of any of this. So we should make a recommendation that not only should the accounting firm send a letter, they should follow up with a phone call and not have me do it, okay? I don't mind doing it, but I have to refer them back to this Michael Kraus, who is with the accounting firm of Dressel and Malecki.
Would it be possible, maybe going forward in our contracts, Kevin, that they have to always somehow notify or make sure we always have a contact that can be kept in our computer system to make it easier
It's up to the board.
on things going forward?
Well, certainly, I mean, and I can't speak to the specific.
But these
deals.
are past.
Yeah, they're past deals, but there's probably some obligation in there that, I mean, they have to report. So that, whether you chase them or they provide the information, I'm sure they have an obligation to do it. But we probably would want to look at those lease agreements, maybe a little bit more detail now that we're getting some more pushback on these. And then you can evaluate what, what the board wants to do with that from a, maybe from a legal perspective. Because I think you've tried the informal efforts, right? And, maybe the next step is something in writing to the company. That could be on LIDA letterhead, that could be on my letterhead as counsel.
I was just going to say, I think maybe the board would want to consider having him send letters out to these companies, and let's get this rolling. I mean, we're pretty much, we're 8 months in, actually longer, because those go back to last year, right? Technically?
Yeah, they were sent out in January. They were needed
by March
to be filed, to be included in the parish report.
So I don't make a motion to have Kevin send letters out to these people, notifying them of this.
Second.
I guess a
Have
good
a motion,
idea.
have a second on the motion?
Second.
Lynn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Member Larry?
Yes.
Member Peterson?
Yes.
Member Reno?
Yes.
Member Ruda?
Yes.
Member Straight?
Yes.
Chair Lewis?
Yes. Okay, we're gonna, now, Kevin, you want to have a pre-meeting next meeting? We're gonna have to put it in the paper. I don't know how long you
Whatever
want.
you'd like to decide to do, doesn't matter to me.
Well, okay, well, it's just basically, it's got to be notified. We got to put it in the paper and that, and just what time do you want to have it at? Do you want to take a half hour, 15 minutes, an hour? It's just whatever she's got to put in the paper is going to be our official start time for that meeting.
Well, I guess she used to do some of them at 3:30.
Yeah,
So there's
3:30,
some
and we went to,
precedence.
and somewhere at 15 minutes, that's what I mean, there's no,
Well, maybe the first one should be 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
And as far as that document that I was referring to, did Mayor Ruda, did you get a copy of that? Did you get this sent to you from the state?
I have not seen that.
And then,
I don't remember.
I haven't seen it
okay,
either.
well, I made copies for all of you,
Okay.
so you could take them, refer them. It's a report on all the IDAs in the state of New York. You can then take apart each municipality, each one that has one, and review their projects. I have them take Amherst just to take a look and see and what type of projects would be in.
I also received a copy.
Did you get that?
And I didn't see anything that was really pertaining.
Well, I'm gonna pass it
I'm
out.
just saying to you,
and-
I'm letting you know, Kevin, so.
Yeah, if it's 30 minutes, that's fine. Doesn't have to be every.
Set it for
Andrew's
3:30
new,
then?
I'm new.
We'll set there for 3:30, while we're talking something on that, I don't know if you saw it was a Buffalo News article, and like I said, you can have it, it was sent to me, about Chautauqua County's IDA, and they're kind of,
That was a big.
they're broken up into three
big newspaper
segments.
article
They've
today,
got
too.
the IDA, then they've got the economic development, it's a separate body, and then they got a third body that I believe is bonds and that type of thing, if I understand it correctly.
That's
So,
Thank you.
there's some confusion there, it's online, I guess, the Buffalo News, somebody sent it to me if you want to, if you want to look at it, there's some pitfalls that they ran into, and the ABO is not happy with them at all, so with that, okay, so we've got the time, and next meeting, we'll get that in the paper?
Thank you.
Super, you're welcome. Okay,
Mr. Chair, could you just bring up where you and I had the meeting with the, and I'm going to ask Kevin to speak to it, regarding the Hull House Foundation and Hull Family Home and Farmstead. We had a meeting with them, and they asked us, the IDA, for a $75,000 grant to do some work that they were talking about regarding, and I'm not going to go into what work they want to do, but Kevin and I were both out there, just so that you know, they asked for a $75,000 grant, and I called Kevin right away. And Kevin, you want to speak to that and to tell them that we can't do these type of things?
Well, there's I think what Paul is bringing up is what an IDA can lawfully utilize its funds for, its own funds for. So dollars that are granted to other entities or loaned to other entities. We don't have the statutory authority to do that. There is an Attorney General opinion that was issued in 2014, which I can share with the board afterward if you'd like to see it, where that issue is actually raised. And it doesn't actually matter. It's interesting. It doesn't matter whether it's, like, this is a good organization, right? I mean, they do really good things. It's a great piece, but you're statutorily constrained from helping them. You know, so Paul reached out to me. I kind of got half the message from him, and I kind of deduced that that's what he was talking about. In terms of the location, and I sent him a note back and I said, this is what I think. So, you know, in the future, if that's something you want me to report out to directly to the board, I'm working with Paul on that, and he makes the inquiry, and then I bring it back.
Yeah, well, and that's why he reached out to you, because that was a real quick synopsis. They bought a period accurate barn from Central New York. They had it disassembled. It's marked by professionals to do it. They had the site cleared, everything set to go with UB and everything, but where the problem came in and their funding shortage came in was they have a grant from Erie County for, I believe it was $106,000, but the grant wasn't good until January of '23, and they already bought the barn, had it transported here, it's sitting there under tarps. So they're kind of got a deficit in their funding, and that's where we thought, at first, it sounded promising that we could do it, and then, of course, we can't do it. So that's why we were even, because it is an educational, historic site, we were, but unfortunately, New York State, like Kevin said, I have that document somewhere, 2015, they're saying definitely no, so, because they're a 501c3.
I reached out to the ECIDA, the Amherst IDA, the Hamburg IDA, and they have not done anything similar to this at all.
You know, so it was disappointing having to call the gentleman back after I turned around and told him, we might be able to help you, but unfortunately, that's the way it goes. So with that, I turned around and asked for, let's see here, I guess maybe our IDA survey's done, we set our pre-meeting, so I take, we need a vote on setting the pre-meeting or no?
I mean, if you want to.
Motion to set the pre-meeting for next meeting?
Second.
At 3:30, second?
Yes.
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 Yes. Mr. Straight?
Yes.
Chairman Master?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, just on the new business, and maybe Mr. Leary, and maybe you can speak to how many people, and how many we were represented at the Lancaster for upstate milk, just for a second. Could you speak to that, Mr. Leary?
Sure, it was a pleasure to go there. We went to see what they wanted from the town of Lancaster and the IDA. There had to be 15 people, maybe more,
maybe more.
from all different departments. They are updating and upgrading their facilities, their existing facilities in Western New York. So there were some people there from NYSEG, the energy departments, but they may have some other stuff on the horizon in the future, and we're going to try to help them out with that. And if possible, hopefully they'll want to stay right here in Lancaster. I'm not going to get into the details because I don't know how much they want out there at this point, but they are looking for additional a facility. But again, we'll leave it at that, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we're very impressed, and you went back and talked to them again, correct?
I did. I had a second meeting with them, and I gave them an application regarding for a project that they're going to be doing for sales tax only for the renovations of the existing
Headquarters.
Office building.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one on Pleasant View, the old
Scientific.
Environment and Ecology building. So, yeah, and they're nothing but a bunch of farmers that own this. They run it. This is their co-op. So if we can help them,
And they were very happy to see people from Lancaster, so.
Never, they were,
Anybody
they were
before?
thrilled that we were there because he said nobody's reached out to him in the past, so that was a plus.
It was very unusual.
Thank you,
because,
thanks to Paul.
Mr. Leary reminded me today that they got to be one of the largest landowners, I would think, in the town of Lancaster or the village of Lancaster. 180 acres they had there or something like that, wasn't
I
it?
believe it's something, I believe that's what he said.
Yeah.
All behind them in there,
You can
they
see
got a lot
that
of land.
it's something we got our hooks into pretty good, so.
Yep, we want to help them. They're looking possibly in the future for a one center to have all their products, a warehousing type center. We'd love to find a space for it if we could, because it would bring a lot of jobs back. They do own a facility in West Seneca that produces milk. They've got the Ortega plant in Batavia, and there was one other one, I believe, was it around Rochester? Batavia, but wasn't there another one in Rochester, I think? So they've got multiple facilities, and they want
West
to get
Seneca was-
one central warehouse type thing, so that hopefully we can work that in the future.
They work with 269 farmers, believe it or not, so it was very interesting meeting.
Yeah, very,
There
very,
was.
very
There's one in
informative.
West Seneca, there's one of the plants out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, West Seneca, and, you know,
Thank you.
with that, yes. Thank you, Paul. Okay, with that, we go to the public comment. Anybody have a public comment? Asked twice? Asked 3 times? Okay, I asked for a second to adjourn.
Second. Dunning?
Yes.
Leary?
Yes.
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 Yes. Well, that's got to be the earliest one we got. So, Grant, do you want to just real quick, even though the meeting's done, you want to real quick explain the computer? We're going to have to,
So we have a bunch of
books.
of previous deals, which are, the idea of scanning them in electronically here is not possible. So we're gonna try to find somebody that can scan them in all at once, upload them to our system, and then we're done with that.
I'm going to see if Beals is still around. Beals used to be in West Seneca. They used to do that stuff.
There's a few of them, and I'm sure TechNet has one too. That,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll reach out to Andrew and Joe and see what they have.
Okay. Yeah, you get back to us with that and the cost, and we'll try to get this done as quick as
And then
possible.
hopefully we can go from that to, and right into storage to get them.
Everything, yeah, all this stuff in the future, hopefully we get a zip drive along with a hard
Public
copy.
hearing?
Going along, it's.
The new stuff, yeah.
Let's talk after we're on.
Now, I
Andrew
did,
retired during it.
yeah, I did mention too, she's gonna be putting in for a cart for your,
All right.
so I talked to Mike, he said he'll give her a voucher, and
All right. Perfect.
thank you for printing that.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good.